Bright QT. Every student matters.
Hello students, today we will be taking up this poem from your English reader textbook. The name of the poem is Mystery of the Talking Fan. Well, what do you understand by the word mystery? Well, what I understand is mystery means something which is not explained or understood very easily. Now, don't you think that there is some mystery in the topic of the poem? Don't you think a talking fan sounds mysterious? It looks like there is some supernatural power attached to it. Have you ever seen a fan which talks? Well, I haven't seen so. Alright, let's read the poem and understand what is the poem all about. Before we read the poem, let us read the snippet and understand what is it.
Is there a ceiling fan in the room where you're sitting now? Just look above. Look up. Do you have a ceiling fan in the room where you're sitting right now? Is the fan quiet or noisy? We all must have seen the quiet fans and the noisy ones. The noisy ones are those, when they rotate, they make some noise, right? We all must have seen that. If it is noisy, you may be sure it is a distant relative of the talking fan in the poem which you are going to read. Let's read the poem. Once there was a talking fan, electrical his chatter. I couldn't quite hear what he said, and I hope it doesn't matter, because one day somebody oiled his little whirling motor and all the mystery was spoiled. He ran as still as water. It's a very short poem, but very interesting, giving a beautiful message. Let's read the poem verse by verse. Once there was a talking fan. Have you ever actually seen a talking fan? Do you think a fan can talk? No, of course. A fan is a non-living thing. It cannot talk. But the poet, he means that when the fan is rotating, it is making some weird noise. Probably some loose wires are there, or probably some kind of motor defect. We don't know. But when it is moving, it is making a lot of noise. It looked like that it was talking. Electrical his chatter. When he was blabbering, it was chattering. The sound which was coming was electrical, as in, of course, it's an electrical device. So the voice which was coming was electrical. It was in the form of electric, because the wires are attached to it. The fan cannot speak, so the voice that will come out, that will be coming out of the wires and whatever the motor problems are there. So the chatter is electric. I couldn't quite hear what he said, and I hope it doesn't matter. The poet says, I couldn't quite hear, as in, I could not hear what he said, because, of course, the fan doesn't talk. It's just making that weird sound. The poet says that it looks like it is talking in an electrical way, in its own way, but I could not understand whatever it was trying to talk. And I hope it doesn't matter. And I hope whatever he is speaking, the fan is speaking or trying to talk, it doesn't matter. It's not that important that I should be bothered about listening to it or understanding it. Because one day somebody oiled his little whirling motor. The motor, because of which the fan was making noise, was defected. So somebody came and oiled that motor. Oiled that motor as in put some oil, did some greasing, and that motor stopped making that noise. One day somebody oiled his little whirling motor and all the mystery was spoiled as he ran as still as water. And when the motor was fixed, it was greased. Of course, the fan stopped making that noise, and all the mystery was spoiled, as in whatever the fan was trying to tell me by, making that sound, it was trying to talk to me. It looked like that to the poet. So he said, all the mystery was spoiled because somebody came and greased the motor, oiled the motor, and the fan could not make any more noise. So the mystery was spoiled. Mystery as in whatever he was trying to tell is all spoiled. It cannot make the noise anymore. He ran as still as water. We all have seen water is very calm. It is considered to be very calm. So the fan, it ran as calm as water or as still as water. Alright? So this is the poem. It is written by Maud Rubin. We'll come to the exercises. First is working with the poem. Fans don't talk, but it is possible to imagine that they do. What is it then that sounds like the fans chatter? What was the sound? Electric. So we'll write down the answer. When the motor of the fan is not oiled, a peculiar sound is made by rotation of the blades. The poet calls it as the chatter of the fan. We too can imagine the sound created by a fan as it's talking to us. We can interpret the sound in any way we like. It all depends on the working of our mind at that time. Right? This is the answer. When the motor of the fan is not oiled, a peculiar sound is made by rotation of the blades. The poet calls it as the chatter of the fan. We too can imagine the sound created by a fan as it's talking to us. We can interpret the sound in any way we like. It all depends on the working of our mind at that time. Complete the following sentences. Now we have to complete the following sentences. The chatter is electrical because. Now why is the chatter electrical? Because the fan is made up of wires and the motor is made up of, all the electrical things, electrical blades and everything. So that is how we have to answer this question. I will write down the answer. The chatter is electrical because the fan is electrically operated or works with the passage of electricity. Okay? So the fan is electrically operated or works with the passage of electricity. That is why the chatter is electrical. Second part, it is mysterious because the poet cannot exactly interpret what the sound is saying. Right? This is the answer. The poet cannot exactly interpret what the sound is saying. Coming to question number 3. What do you think the talking fan was demanding? What do you think the talking fan was demanding? I think the talking fan was demanding oil because the motor was not working properly. So the fan was making noise. So it was trying to tell us that I need oil, that the motor needs the oil, right? Let's quickly write down the answer. I think the fan was demanding oil. I think so because the poor fan must have been fed up of chattering continuously. Now this is again an imagination. We know that the fan wanted oil, but now this is an imagination that we think that the poor fan was fed up because he was continuously making that kind of sound. Coming to the fourth one. How does an electric fan manage to throw so much air when it is switched on? So what do you think? How does the electric fan work? As in, how does the air comes out of the electric fan when it's switched off? On. So the answer would be when the electric fan is switched on, it throws so much air. It is because the blades rotate very fast and strike against the passing air, right? So this is the answer. When the electric fan is switched on, it throws so much air. It is because the blades rotate very fast and strike against the passing air. Question number 5. Is there a talking fan in your house? Create a dialogue between the fan and the mechanic. Now imagine that we all have a talking fan in our house, that the motor is not working or there's some wire problem. The fan is making a lot of noise. Now imagine that the mechanic has come to fix it up. So there is you have to imagine there is a conversation between the fan and the mechanic. So you have to write down that conversation. It is all imaginary work. I'll quickly give you a starter and you can continue the conversation on your own with your own words and with your own imagination. So imagine the fan says, "At last, you have come." Okay? So now, the mechanic replies, "I have come here as I have been called." Right? Now, the conversation has to continue from the fan's side. You have to make your own conversation, give your own dialogues. It can be just 4 or 5 lines, but a good and interesting conversation will be a good thing, right? So this is your activity which you have to do on your own. I have given you the starters. Okay, let's read quickly this one. "Sell Wade, my friend." What is this? When you want to say a well-oiled bicycle and actually say a well-boiled icicle, you have spoken a spoonerism, changing round accidentally the initial sounds of 2 or more words when speaking. So we would have actually said well said, but accidentally we changed the sounds and we said sell-wade. Well said, sell-wed. So instead of, speaking the right words, we just changed the letters, but the sounds were same. So this is called as spoonerism. Spoonerism, changing round the initial sounds of 2 or more words when speaking. Rahul's teacher was angry. Rahul had failed twice in term examinations. The teachers thundered, "You have tasted 2 worms already." What was teacher trying to say? What do you think the teacher was trying to say? I think what I can interpret, the teacher was saying, You have wasted 2 terms already. Yeah? So the teacher, what did the teacher do? This was spoonerism. She exchanged the words like worms and tasted. So this W had to come here and T had to come here, making it terms. Right? Okay. The poem ends, and now we will be doing the chapter very soon in the next class.